Well, a very warm welcome to Nicolas Didio. It's nice to have you here with the interview. And let me say, first of all, congratulations to actually a clean sweep in the Europe Executive Team survey in your sector, in the telco sector, for the first time as an IR being represented in the survey. Tell us and share with us your thoughts about the awards and what they mean to you and your management.
Well, thanks. First of all, I mean, we were pretty pleased with the results, considering that when I joined, we sat down and we established a diagnostic based on discussions I had before joining with the analysts, with the investors about very honest discussions I had with them about. Tell me everything, as if there won't be any sentiment, any feelings afterward. Tell me everything you don't like, everything that we should adopt as best practice. And then I came back with that pack of conclusions and key takeaways. I was not filtering any answers to management, and most of them were fair opinions, and I think building on that analysis and diagnostic with the market, we built a more, let's say, a square communication with the market, and we were much more proactive. We adapted the communication, adapted the dialogue with the market, and I think the management as well has been more inclined to give a few more colors in their answers to the financial community than just repeating the facts. I think giving three dimensions to the question is helping the market to understand where we come from and the philosophy of the group.
Very well. In terms of last year, obviously we all went through this crisis. Share with us your thoughts and tips on how you've actually overcome those challenges, and how did you manage to continue engaging with investors as well as target new investors?
Well, I guess like most people, this has not been an easy one, dealing with the pandemic in 2020. Difference probably on my side was a bit tougher, considering we published late in the year, mid-March. And the lockdown in France happened mid-March, so I was prevented to be with the teams when we published the full year results, when we were finishing the annual report. And this is a moment where you have a lot of meetings face to face. So we had to adapt. I mean, the only patch to that issue was extending the number of hours, and because it was not possible to travel at the time, and then it was a lot of discussions. So all the management was very reactive at the group level in order to make sure everyone was, but at the same time we're a telecom company, so we don't have the same level of disruption than some other sectors. So that probably enabled on the other side, I mean, difficulties on preparing for your results and your report, but on the other side it enabled us to keep the eyes on the ball and to be focused on delivering a good set of results in terms of accuracy of numbers and discussion with the auditor. So we rapidly adopted WebEx, Zoom, and other things, and that was the best way to do. But it took a toll a bit physically.
Yeah, you've just mentioned actually adoption of technological platforms, the engagement platforms. IR digitization is something that has been going on for a while. Where do you see opportunities for IR to actually be impacted by a digitization, and what are the tools that you think can make your work more efficient?
Well, on my side, I would say we have not yet embarked in clear digitalization of the IR function. We as a European telco of medium-sized, not having bonds all over the world in yen or in dollars, the crowd that we discuss with is mostly Europe and US. So when I have regular, let's say, I have commercials from some companies trying to sell me CRM systems and so on, analysis to prevent or to monitor any activity. That's the kind of tools at this stage we don't really need at Iliad. So yeah, I tend to speak for my experience, not for the others. I'm not a standard. Probably the founder of Iliad, he has 70% of the group after 16 years after the IPO. So activism is pretty limited. As I say, the crowd is mostly concentrated in Europe and US. We don't have a lot of investors looking at us from Asia or Latin America or Middle East. So at this stage, I don't have a big need of let's say, digital tools. One very important tool to me, I know it's an expensive one, but Bloomberg is a tool I'm using a lot to communicate with investors. I know they are all plugged on Bloomberg all the day. They know I am plugged as well, so for them it's very quick to discuss with me and to have a discussions. As well, it's important as an IR to have a view on the bond prices, to have a view on the news flow, the volume and stuff. So there are a lot of things that I can do because I have been an analyst before and I know to use Bloomberg. It's not a cheap tool, but I think it's important for each listed company to have at least one Bloomberg.
Yes, ESG is obviously becoming increasingly a fundamental component in the investment decisions of a lot of investors. Where are you at in terms of your ESG journey? What are the things that you're doing to engage with investors to find also alignment?
Yeah, well, ESG has been a clear topic where my company, we have been lagging the trend. We have been really focused on the growth of the business and trying to compete with bigger animals than we are. So we have been a lot focused on the business. And as I said, the diagnostic we had in 2009, end of 2019 when I joined was a lot about transforming and adapting the communications to the new environment. And ESG has been, let's say, the last piece of the puzzle. We have been firing all barrels since a few months on that front. We have been discovering unsolicited ratings where we were scoring poorly. And the big frustration was most of the information was available online, but the website that we had was obsolete, and it takes quite some time to change a website. So let's say the way we've been engaging in ESG has been, we had a wake-up call last year, discussions with some investors. We adapted to that. We reacted. We launched a recruiting process on that. We at last communicated on our climate targets, something that takes a lot of time to define considering what is at stake. And we changed the website, which was not something light for us. As I said, probably Yahoo website in 2004 was more modern than the one we had today. So we changed that 3 weeks ago. That was long due. But I think it will be enabling us to catch low-hanging fruits on the ESG, because a lot of efforts have been made already day to day, bottom up by every colleagues, but it was poorly communicated. And ESG, part of the challenge on ESG ratings and discussing on ESG topic is about communication. It's not necessarily about what you do, because people do a lot of things, but it's a lot about communicating about it. And we were doing a lot, not communicating at all. So we have been arranging that, and now we are entering the second phase about doing better what we were doing already.
Yeah, very, very well. You've mentioned your capability assessment that you did towards the end of last year or the year before, in fact. What are, from your perspective, and also having been on the sell side, what are your top tips for IROs, and what are the absolute must-haves?
The head of IR function, to me, you are central to the company, but at the same time, you don't contribute to the revenues and EBITDA. You are, let's say, in the middle, and you need to have the capability to get a lot of news flow in the group without being the one losing the time of your interlocutor. So you need to me to understand very well your business, very well the industrial trends that are surfacing. And for that, you need to discuss a lot with plenty of different persons in the group. Normally, informations don't come to you as an head of IR in a large company. You need to fetch more than just the data, financial data. You need to fetch a lot of knowledge by yourself, discussing with the other managers of different divisions. And for that, you need to spend a lot of time understanding the business, because you don't want to have them losing their time. So you want to have, let's say, value-added discussions with your colleagues, telling them where you are coming from, why are you asking these questions, why it can ultimately help their let's say, day-to-day job, their strategy for one division. And I think that's important to have that sharing of experience in the group. Once you have that as a solid foundation of, you understand well the company you work for, you understand well the industrial trends, and this has come with long-lasting discussions with your colleagues, you are able to have a good discussions with the analysts, with the investors. And I think a key advice would be that you need to be reactive. An analyst, when he's asking the question, most of the time, it means investors have been asking the question. It means that he has a service to give to the investors, and if you don't reply in rapid manner, then he's going to be frustrated. And investors are going to ask another analyst. I will have another analyst asking me the same questions, and at the end, it creates a kind of, the company doesn't communicate on that topic, whilst it potentially is just a question of priority. So I think the key advice is be reactive when you have questions, unless it's a very scientific questions, rocket science question. Answer it, because that's what the market needs, is a fluidity of the news flow.
Yes, responsiveness, which is actually something we measure in the survey too. Thank you for this, Nicolas. We're just going through a rapid question round. Name a historic figure that you would like to meet, and what would you ask them?
Da Vinci. My family loves everything that has been created over the years, and I think that I've read a lot of things on the net, or there are some movies around the mysteries of some of his creations. So I would say the discussion would be around the Mona Lisa, and are there so many mysteries around that, or is it just a painting of someone, or is it really all that mystery around? Is it true or not?
Yeah, very interesting. A favorite band or singer?
Well, it's an impossible question. I love everything. I can switch from hard rock to opera in a clap of fingers. Sorry. I would say the old-fashioned would be the Beatles. The more modern version would be U2. But I don't have a favorite. On tennis, I have a favorite, but on music, it's difficult.
Very good. And a quote from a movie you use in a daily life?
Maybe not every day, but very regularly. It's coming from Star Wars. The May the Force be with you. Recently, I've been signing few emails. May the force of the vaccine be with you. That's what I've been using recently.
Very good. And a favorite board game you play?
Uh, well, Scrabble remains my favorite. I used to take my iPad on board when I was flying for roadshows over the Atlantic, or just continental Europe flight. And Scrabble is a good way to spend time on the plane.
Yeah, and a personal objective for 2021?
Well, the classic one is always to do more sports, but I will complement it with doing family sports, to having all the family enjoying sports time together, rather than just me playing tennis and someone else playing doing the gym, and having that kind of shared moments, but sporty ones.
Yeah, very good. Well, thank you so much, Nicolas Didio, head of IR of Iliad. Congratulations again on the fantastic win in the Europe Executive Team Survey 2020 in the Telcos Midcap. Thank you for your time and for your insights, and all the best for 2021.
Thank you very much, Amani, and see you soon. Stay safe.